Hey, welcome to Draft Academy. My name is Mike. In this tutorial, I want to talk to you guys about comments in Ruby. Now, a comment is basically a little line of code that Ruby is actually going to ignore. So a lot of times when we're writing our Ruby programs, there's going to be situations where we want to leave like little notes or really just little comments inside of our files. And a comment is exactly that. It's just a little line of code, a little line of text that is meant to be read by humans. So if you're writing a Ruby file, you can leave a little comment, and then when you come back later, you can read the comment, or another developer who's looking at the file can read the comment. And you can basically communicate information that's outside of just the actual code in the file. And there's a lot of situations where comments are going to be useful. The basics of making a comment is you essentially go to a line of code and you can use this hashtag symbol, and anything that you put after this hashtag symbol is going to be in the comment. So you notice that my text editor is actually styling this a little bit differently. So if I was just to come down here and type out some random text, you can see that this is actually going to get rendered by the program. But if I put random text over here after this hashtag, this is going to be considered a comment. So I can basically write any plain text over here, and when I run the program, you'll notice that nothing gets printed out, that's inside of this comment block. So like I said, comments are really useful for leaving little messages or little reminders inside of your programs. You can also put comments after lines of code. So for example, here we have just a line of code. If I wanted, after this line of code, I could put my hashtag and I could type a comment after here. And this is something that you'll see a lot in programs, like people will include comments either after lines of code or directly above lines of code. And a lot of times people will use comments in order to describe what a line of code is doing. So I could say this line prints text. So obviously, it's pretty obvious what this line is doing, but if I wanted, I could put a comment there. Another thing that comments are used for is commenting out code. So there's going to be certain situations when you're programming where you might want to run your program, but without a specific line of code. So maybe you have this whole big method and you want to see what your program would be like without a specific line. Well, one thing you could do would be just to erase the line of code, right? You could get rid of it and you could go ahead, you could run the file, and basically the code's gone. But the problem with that is you have to physically delete the line of code. A better way would be just to come over here, and right before the line of code, we could put a comment there. And this is what's called commenting out a line of code. And a lot of times developers will use this to basically temporarily disable a line of code. So now when I run the program, we're not printing out comments or fun anymore because it's commented out. And the great thing is when I want this line of code back, I can just get rid of the comment and we're back in business. So, really a comment is just kind of open for business. Whatever you want to do with it, whatever you think you can accomplish with a comment, you can go ahead and do that. A lot of times people will also put comments on multiple lines. So you'll see some people, they'll have line 1 of a comment, and then down here they'll make another hashtag, they'll have line 2. This is one way that you can put comments on multiple lines. And honestly, this would probably be the recommended way, the most Ruby-esque way to do it. There is another way that we can do this though. So yeah, like I said, normally with these hashtags, it only applies to the one line, right? But if you wanted, you could create a comment block, and all you have to do is just say equals begin, and then wherever you want the comment block to end, you can just say equals end. And it's important to note that these can't have any white space before them. So you see if I put white space there, it disables the comment. So down here you can just type whatever you want inside the comment and it'll be rendered as a comment. But like I said, I think probably a cleaner way to do it is just to put a hashtag on every line, especially if you're moving to other programming languages. A lot of other programming languages will do stuff like this. So it's just something to keep in mind. One final thought about comments. You want to use comments only when they're absolutely necessary. Comments, if you have too many of them and they're too active in the document, a lot of times they can be a little bit distracting. Generally, your goal should be to write code that is as readable and clean as possible so that you don't need comments to explain it. But a lot of times a comment can come in handy. So if there's a situation where you think you need a comment, don't be afraid to put one in. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to Draft Academy to be the first to know when we release new content. Also, we're always looking to improve, so if you have any constructive criticism or questions or anything, leave a comment below. Finally, if you're enjoying Draft Academy and you want to help us grow, head over to draftacademy.com/contribute and invest in our future.